with any luck, we're gonna have a sheet of plastic on this thing before it gets dark today. Guys are down there finishing up the end walls. They don't lack but just a couple boards. We don't have our storm doors yet. The way I kind of designed this, I left 36 inches, built both ends the same, straight across from each other. So there'll be a 36-inch walk door right here, and then we've got a 10-foot big door for driving a tractor in or whatever. And I've decided, for decreasing my expense a little bit, I've already got a very considerable amount of money in this thing. So instead of building doors, I've been down that road before where we built great big swinging doors. Unless you just built them out of aluminum or something, weld them up, you can't really build them where they're that tough. They won't stand much abuse. If they're somewhat light and that size, they're just covered in plastic, they're just not very strong. So I've decided we're just going to put wiggle wire track around this, our single wire lock track around the big door, and I'm going to cut a sheet of plastic, and we're just going to wiggle wire a piece of plastic over the big doors for the winter time. And then as soon as we're out of danger of frost, I will take the big doors off both ends and let it be wide open. At that point, we'll run our side curtains to the top, crack our top vent, take both big doors off the ends, and it'll be wide open. It'll just be under roof. So right now they're finishing up the end walls, or the end wall on that end, and me and Malachi have got one last little sliver of baseboard that goes on this side right here. As you can see, we got to dig out a little bit. This certainly wasn't the cheapest way to do the baseboard, but I think it's going to be a good, solid, long-term solution. We used 2x10s. Probably should have went a little deeper on this end, but we didn't. Anyway, we're about 3 boards high, 3 2x10s high at that end, 1 2x10 high at this end. If you're for baseboard, you want to always use 2x10s or 2x8s because they are treated for below ground. 6s and 4s are treated for above ground only. So always use 2x8s or 2x10s, 2x12s, but that'd be more expensive. So we're gonna finish this up, and we've got to put our single wire lock across the bow on each end, and we'll be ready for plastic. This right here is a 409 stainless Tech type screw that came from the greenhouse manufacturer. This we're out of. They didn't send us enough. These are far superior to these, which came from Lowe's, and I thought were exactly the same thing. I mean, I knew these were steel zinc coated and those are 409 stainless, but these things won't even go into this pipe without stripping off, breaking off. So now we got to pre-drill all these holes. That's extra handy. Center of the pipe. Do I have to drill a hole first? These are no bueno.
¿No gusta estos?
Basura from China.
Basura.
About a 9/64 hole. 9/64 drill bit. I was wrong. This is not garbage from China. It's garbage from Taiwan. Same difference. So I don't know, the audio is probably going to be garbage on this video because the wind just keeps picking up. We're not going to be able to cover this thing today, but I just kind of wanted to give you a view from the top. We finally got everything wrapped up. All I got left to do is I've got to, obviously, the rod that runs the pinion gears that raises this rack and pinion up and down, they've got to be connected, and we've got to put a motor in the middle. The motor that it came with, good thing I work at a fab shop, because the motor mount that came with this kit, there's absolutely no way you can make it work. So I'm gonna have to make a custom motor mount to mount the motor for the rack and pinion roof system, and just some few little odds and ends, devil's in the details, as they say. We're gonna have to probably gonna wait until we get it covered, and then I will run the rods down the side that roll the side curtains up and down and get it fastened, and then we'll figure out where the post goes that the motor that raises the curtains up and down mounts to. Also, we've got to jump through all the hoops to get power over here. From my understanding, what I've read, I should be able to get power run here for free because we're not much over. We're right at 100 foot from the road, from the power line that runs along the road. But it's unfortunate, but when you deal with these companies like Duke Energy, they don't know what a farm is, much less that you don't have to have a building permit to build a greenhouse. So when we've called about getting temporary power service out here, that's what they call it. It's not gonna be temporary, but called about getting a pole. They want to know about building permits and physical address and whatever. So we've got to jump through all those hoops and find someone there that knows what they're talking about that can get us some power out here before we can even really get going on getting these motors and all hooked up. But it's not every day. It's really nice working weather when the wind's blowing 12 or 15 miles an hour. For the Piedmont, North Carolina, it's pretty rare that we get this much wind. The wind hardly ever blows here, except when it's cold weather and we don't want it to blow. But it's blowing now. Certainly way too much to cover this greenhouse. So it's ready to cover. We just gotta get some weather to do it. So if you can hear me over these hurricane force winds, this with the super vague instructions that we got, this roll of clear, I don't know what you call this stuff, rubber, whatever it is. When I got the kit, I found this roll of stuff when I was going through the packing list. I was like, what in the heck is that for? And I thought maybe it was like a door sweep, in case you were putting on big doors, like for this 10-foot door here, like a sweep for the bottom of it or something. I didn't have a clue what it was. Well, I just happened to find a picture in the instructions that show it going right here. It seals off the roof vent, so it'll go sandwich in between this piece of single wire lock to seal this when the roof vent shuts. I thought I had the footage for one of the best videos about this greenhouse build series out of all of them. Somewhere out there in computer land is some missing footage. Maybe it'll show up and I will be able to piece this back together at some point. But for right now, I ended up with about half the footage for today's video, unfortunately. We thought we were gonna get the wire lock on and then get the plastic on, and we had just barely gotten started and the wind picked up. We were not able to get the plastic on. So anyway, it is still sitting here ready for plastic. I'm not sure the wind has stopped blowing since we got it to this point. To pull a sheet of plastic this size over a greenhouse, there can be no wind. It's just it's way too big. This thing is 34 foot wide by 96 feet long. The sheet of plastic, I can't remember, the big sheet goes on this side and it gets split up there, so it's not as simple as just a standard greenhouse where you would pull the plastic all the way over. With this roof vent system, the big sheet of plastic will start over here and go up to the roof vent and attach all the way down, and then we'll have a small sheet that attaches to the wire lock underneath the roof vent and goes down this side. It's probably going to be pretty challenging to get put up with no wind, so we got to have a really calm day. But she's ready. I mean, we're, with the exception of getting our 3-foot walk doors, got to get those and get those put in. Everything else is 100% done. I mean, we even got the wire lock track along the front. We're ready for our side curtains here. The baseboard is up all the way down. It turned out really nice. Very pleased with it. I feel like, yep, as it dries, I knew that was gonna happen. These boards were just as tight together as we could get them when we put them up like 2 weeks ago. And now you can see that you can stick your finger through there. If you have any wonderful suggestions about that, let me know, because these things are bolted to the post, so it's not like you just take it off and move it down real quick. Like I don't know, great stuff might make a mess. Caulk, it's a little large of a gap for caulk, but need to address it some way. If you got any ideas, drop them in the comments. But all of our wire lock is on around the top. The end walls are 100% complete. I mean, we're ready to go. We need to put plastic on and put the motors in to operate the side curtains and the top, and then put the thermostat box in. But we're ready. We just need time, help, and no wind. I hate I lost the rest of the footage for this, because there was a whole lot of clips that are missing. Don't have a clue where they went, but appreciate you watching. And someday soon there will be a video on covering greenhouses, I hope, because we've got this one to cover and we've got the other one. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.